Nico Harrison did it again, folks, and I got to be honest, I don't think it's something that's been discussed enough, so we're going to tell you exactly what he did here on Mavericks Today. Harrison Graham and Jeffrey Cooperstein with you. We're about 2 weeks away from training camp. Some would say next week, but about 2 weeks away. And what he did, Coop, was acquire Quentin Grimes. I think the most underrated move the Mavs made this offseason.
I completely agree with you. They got Quentin Grimes from the Detroit Pistons for Tim Hardaway Jr., who they were desperately trying to get rid of. Had to attach 3 second-round picks to give to the Pistons in order to get Grimes back. But I fully agree with you. I do think this is the most underrated move that the Mavericks made this offseason and could make a big difference on this team this year.
Yeah, and I think a big part of this, obviously, too, was just unloading Tim.
100%.
That certainly plays a role, but you're hoping Grimes is Josh Green and then some. I mean, if he can be what he was a couple of years ago with the Knicks, which was one of the best corner three-point shooters in the NBA, and play next to Luka and defending at a high level like he's always been able to do, I mean, this can end up being a guy that plays a major role for this basketball team.
Yeah, the Mavs might have gotten an absolute steal in this trade, and obviously we haven't seen Grimes play for the Mavs yet, so we maybe need to pump the brakes a little bit. But there are some trends that he put on display with the New York Knicks that I really think could translate well over to the Mavs. Obviously he had an injury last year that kept him out for a lot of the games. I think he played in less than 60 games last year. But I do believe that he could be a big part of this team, and there are some things that he did with New York, specifically in the 22-23 season, that we're going to take a look at that I really like and I really think will translate to this team going forward.
Show some love to Quentin Grimes. Get the 5s down in the comments. That's the jersey number he's going to be rocking this year. So spam 5 down below for Quentin Grimes.
Here are his career stats in 168 games. And where I really want to focus is this 22-23 season. In 71 games, he had a career best 11.3 points, 46.8% from the field, and 38.6% from three. It's the three-pointers that really stand out to me, especially from the corner. I looked at some stats here, and I think if he can really replicate what he did in this season, he is going to be maybe like the third or fourth most important player on this team. If he can do what he did with the Knicks then, he was a very key part of that team, both offensively and defensively. I believe that was Brunson's first year in New York, and he was a guy that Tom Thibodeau relied on to play a lot of minutes on that team.
Yeah, and, I think it's a little unclear what exactly his role is going to be on this team at first. I think he'll be in the rotation, but it'll be up to him to, earn a big spot or kind of a minor role. I think at first it'll probably be a minor role. Then if he plays well, that role could increase. But I thought these are some interesting numbers here, Coop, from that season that you pulled up. Left corner, one of the better three-point shooters in the NBA.
Among qualified players with a certain amount of attempts, he was number one in the NBA from the left corner at 48.5%. Right corner, not too shabby at all at 37.5%. Where's he going to spend most of his time in the Mavericks offense? Right there in the corner. I mean, if you have Klay on one corner, Quentin Grimes on the other, and you have Luka just dribble, drive, penetrate, and kick it out, the Mavs are going to shoot a lot of wide-open corner threes. And if I'm not asking for 48.5%, can you give me 45 from the corner, from the left corner? I think that would be a great number for Quentin Grimes to shoot at.
Yeah, I mean, if he can be a sniper from that corner, and like you said, if Klay or if it's Naji Marshall in the game at the time, whoever can be good from the other corner, Luka and Kyrie penetrating, whoever's playing center, you can kind of run that pick-and-roll game with shooters ready to go. I mean, I don't think the Mavs are going to do anything generational with their scheme. It's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a lot of pick and roll, Cleve is in the game, a little more pick and pop, and they're going to have 1 to 2 really good shooters on the floor next to Luka, and obviously Kyrie is going to get his isolation opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's what this offense is going to be.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be some super innovative offense where they're trying all these new and different schemes. It's going to be pretty simple. It's going to be come set the high screen, Luka's going to go around it, and he's going to get in the lane, and he's either going to take it to the hole, or he's going to step back, or he's going to kick it out to an open shooter. So this team is going to find ways to get everybody the ball, and I think everybody is going to get a lot of opportunities to show what they can do on the offensive end.
If you're excited to see Quentin Grimes play in Dallas, hit that thumbs up icon and like this video. Just over a month away from the Mavs season opener.
Let's
we get
go.
to see what QG brings to the table this year. So definitely excited about that. I'm also excited when I have a chance to make some money, and with PrizePicks, I get to do that on a daily basis. That's what PrizePicks is, a daily fantasy sports app. It's DFS made easy. All you got to do is create an account today. It takes less than 90 seconds at prizepicks.com/CLNS. That code CLNS will get you their special deal they're offering right now. When you play for $5 initially, they're going to send you a $50 bonus regardless if you win that entry or not. And by entry, you do this. 2 to 6 player lineups, choose more, choose less on the stat projections. And sometimes they have little offers. Like right now, Caleb Williams, half a passing yard this week. You take the more on that and pair it with at least one other play for a player on a different team. Could be a different sport as well. 2 to 6 player entries, choose more, choose less on the stat projections they have laid out within PrizePicks. And if you hit, you win some money. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS for that $50 bonus when you play for $5 initially. It's a hell of a deal. Free money to play with. Who doesn't like free? PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Pick more, pick less. It's PrizePicks. All right, let's get into expectations.
Yeah, just rounding out the discussion on Quentin Grimes. I expect him to be, I want to say, I'm going to go like 9.5 points, and he's going to shoot 40-ish% from three. Because I do think his opportunities are going to be fairly limited, because I think Klay Thompson's going to get a lot of run. Naji Marshall and P.J. Washington are going to get a lot of run at his spots. So where he has to make an impression is early in the season when Jason Kidd is still feeling out this rotation, and he gives everybody a chance to play and make their mark. I think that's where he's going to have to show that he can be trusted. I do think he'll be trusted on the defensive end, which is where Kidd really cares about for the most part, to be honest with you. But if he can show on the offensive end especially that he can knock down that corner three at a consistent clip, I think he's going to be a big part of it, man.
I won't throw numbers out there, but I expect him to be more reliable than Josh Green. That's what I expect. Maybe that's a high bar. I don't know. I think his skill set translates better as a more pure 3-and-D guy than Josh Green did. I know Josh improved here and became a guy that did some good things, but I think he's a more natural shooter, even if his percentages have not necessarily reflected that at times compared to Josh. And I think he's more versatile defensively.
Agreed.
I think that's where I felt like, I don't know how you feel about this, Coop, but I felt like the last year and change, as Green's offensive game improved a little bit, I thought his defense kind of slipped.
Yeah. I mean, in the 22-23 season where the Mavs missed the playoffs and went 38-44, Green was the team's best defender, and it wasn't even really close. This season, he did pick it up a little bit on the offensive end, but I would agree. I do think his defense suffered a little bit, and he kind of reverted back to a slightly above average defender.
He got smoked in that OKC series.
Yeah, he was more or less unplayable in the postseason, especially in the finals against the Celtics. They tried it, and they quickly had to move on from him.
Remember, they went back to Exum because he was a little more reliable. So I'm hoping for a little more reliability here, and at least if he at least defends how he's been able to, he's gonna play, and I just think he's gonna get better looks playing in this offense. So I think a more reliable and versatile version of Josh Green, that's my expectations.
If
it's anything beyond that, then, you've got a really good rotation piece. So I'm pretty excited, and I think I still am a little shocked Detroit kind of just gave him away. I know he only played 5 or 6 games there, and the few games he played, he wasn't that good, but it's I don't know, man. You're like a young team rebuilding. Why are you just letting a 24-year-old walk out the door? It's just weird.
It's why the Pistons are the Pistons, plain and simple.
Yeah. I guess so. All right, speaking of training camp, or actually you guys answer this question first. Who's the most underrated player on the roster? Very well could be QG. Give us your thoughts on that. And then as we wrap up this show, Coop, we're getting closer and closer.
Oh, man.
Less than 2 weeks away from Media Day. Training camp in Vegas starts on October 1st. Preseason gets rolling about a week after that. Before we know it, Mavs basketball will be here.
I can't wait to see Victor Wembanyama and the Spurs come to town against the Mavs. We'll for sure be doing a watch party for that, and that's going to be super exciting. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. For all things throughout the 2024-25 season, we'll have you covered. Whether there's trade rumors, whether there's Mavericks news, injury news, whatever the case may be, we'll have you covered. So stay locked in with us, and we'll keep you covered with all things Mavs going forward.
And how about this? Woj bombs are no longer.
It's crazy. We got the final Woj bomb today that he's retiring from ESPN. He's going to back home to be the general manager of the St. Bonaventure men's basketball team where he went to school. So ESPN, without their biggest NBA insider, and Woj absolutely changed the game. There's no question.
Some rumors on who could be replacing him out there.
Flip-flop Fish could be the guy. If he is, that's a problem, and that's all I'll say about that.
It's effing where the real ones know. But salute to Woj, a legend. Did not see this coming. But the Bonnies trying to get in the NIL game. We'll see if Woj can help put them on the map at the college basketball level. And we'll see who ESPN hires. But kudos to him. Coop, good show.
Yes,
we
indeed.
will see you guys tomorrow with some more Dallas Mavericks coverage. See you.
Peace.